Hi, it's Katie, and I have another collection of smoothies that I've tried out recently that I really like. The first one is a pear and parsley smoothie, and I will link to the recipe that I used. I did change it just a little bit based on what I had on hand, but this has pears, apples, avocado, frozen bananas, and parsley. So I just put it all in with about a cup of water, and they had the bananas frozen in a big chunk like that, so I did have to use the tamper a little bit to blend this up. The apples were fine. It wasn't a problem blending up the apples or the pears. I think it was just that big chunk of frozen bananas that made it a little bit difficult. But in the end, it turned out really smooth, and it was pretty cold because of the frozen bananas, so it wasn't thick, but it was really smooth and delicious. I really liked this one. The next one's a little bit different and something that I kind of just wanted to try out. So I just have a cup of almond milk and a banana. Those are sort of standard things. But I've been interested in how to kind of bulk up my smoothies to have them fill me up a little bit longer. So this time I'm adding cooked white beans. And I started with just a quarter cup there. I ended up bumping that up to half a cup. But I just wanted the extra fiber and protein. And then a little bit of cocoa, so a tablespoon of cocoa and a tablespoon of maple syrup. I find if you do equal amounts of cocoa and a sweetener, it balances it just right. And then to make it nice and frosty, I'm adding about 8 or 10 ice cubes there. And then it just gets blended up. And this is a little bit on the thinner side since it just has the one fresh banana, but it's really delicious, and you can't go wrong with chocolate. I was pleasantly surprised with how the beans worked. You couldn't smell them, you couldn't taste them, and you couldn't see them, but they were there. The next one, I was just using up things that I had on hand. So some apple, banana, pineapple, and then half of a lime that I peeled. And the liquid I'm using is this coconut juice, and there's little bits of coconut pulp. So any kind of coconut water would work. I really liked how it turned out. So I'm just throwing everything into the pitcher of the Vitamix and then just pureeing that. And that came together really nice. This one was really fruity and tropical with the coconut and the pineapple and the banana, and it was really delicious. I really like this one too. This one I also sort of kind of used a recipe, but this is an apple crumble smoothie. So I have 2 apples, about a quarter cup of pecan pieces, half a cup of oats, about a tablespoon of flaxseed meal, and in the pitcher is about a cup of water. So I'm going to throw everything in, and then I'm just going to add a little bit of cinnamon. So just a sprinkle of cinnamon, and then I'm also going to add just a splash of maple syrup. These apples were Gala apples, so they were pretty sweet, didn't need too much sweetener. And then I'm also just going to add a little drizzle of vanilla extract. And then puree this all up. This was a little bit thicker, especially with those big pieces of apple, but it did blend itself without having to use the tamper. Just had to give it time to get all incorporated. This one was really good. I also, before I drank it, I sprinkled a little extra cinnamon right on top, so it really smelled and tasted delicious. I really liked using oats, and with the beans and the oats, I found those are 2 really great ways to add extra fiber and extra staying power to my smoothies. This last one was my favorite of this group, and it's just watermelon, mint, and ice. So that's about a quarter of a watermelon, and I added probably 8 or 10 ice cubes and about 5 mint leaves. I didn't want the mint to be too overpowering, but just a few leaves really made this so delicious and refreshing. It was perfect for after working in the garden on a hot day. I sort of overfilled my pitcher. It would have been better if I either cut the watermelon into smaller pieces or pureed some of the watermelon first. So I did have to use my tamper, but once I got it crushed down a little bit, it blended together perfectly and was really smooth and frothy in the end. And this one, like I said, was my favorite. It's so delicious. Just a little hint of mint really makes the watermelon taste that much sweeter and that much more refreshing. So those are all of my smoothies for this batch. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please give it a thumbs up. And if you have a great smoothie recipe, leave it down in the comments down below. I'd love to try your smoothie recipe. And thank you so much for watching. Bye guys.